Alright Tinkers, welcome to my third and final video for my Morse Code Code. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out these two videos. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a few more things we need to do to really make this code flexible. After looking at what we've got so far, wouldn't it be nice if when we wanted to change the message, all we had to do was just change one line of code? Now here's how we're going to make that happen. First we need to declare a new variable with the data type of string. Let me tell you more about strings. A string is a list of characters of any length. Everything inside the quotations here is actually what counts as the string. What's nice about strings is that in some ways you can treat them like arrays. For example, if we wanted the third letter in this string, we can access it like we would the third element of an array. Strings also come with some nifty stuff too. We can call the length function on them, and it will return an integer of how many characters are inside it. This is particularly useful when using loops with strings, which so happens to be exactly what we're going to be doing. So now we can declare our string and assign it the value of the context of our message. This, by the way, is the one line of code that I was talking about. Now we can create a loop, just like the ones that we used in an array, except this one can be more dynamic because we can use the length function to determine how many times it needs to repeat itself. What we want to do is simple enough. We want the code to run through all the letters and say, give me an R, give me an O, give me a B, and so on. The code inside this loop is going to be a bit interesting. Let me tell you about conditional statements. I'm actually rather surprised we got this far without them. Let's say that you have some code that you want to run only if specific conditions are met. You can say, if some statement, then do stuff. For example, let's say you had a score from a test, and we wanted to know if you should jump up and down because we passed, or we hang our head in shame because we failed. We can write it out to say, if score is greater than 59, do celebrate stuff. We can also specify the alternative with an else statement like this, for shame. But what if you wanted to get a little bit more detailed than that? I mean, celebrating over D- kind of makes you look like an idiot. So how about we say, if score is greater than 89, then happy dance. Now we can say, else if score is greater than 79, pat self on back, and else if score is greater than 69, meh. Else if score is greater than 59, discreetly hide results from view, and here we can use the same else statement for hang head in shame. So let's say you ended up with a 74%. The code would first check to see if it was over 89%, and because it's not, it would move on to check the next condition, which turns out to be false as well. It then checks the third condition and finds it true, and will proceed to execute the code inside these brackets. Once it's done, it will skip all of the other code in the conditional block regardless of whether the following conditions are true or not. To bring this example a bit closer to our project, let's say that instead of a number, score was a single letter grade. We can change our code to accommodate this using the double equals. Remember, a single equal sign tells the program that it is that value. A double equal sign asks the program if it is that value. Now is a great time to define the rest of the alphanumerical values in Morse code. Now this turns out to be a behemoth of a conditional block, but because of the usability we're getting out of it, it's something that we can live with. And because Morse code doesn't care whether you're using an uppercase letter or a lowercase letter, we do well to ensure all the letters are uppercase using another function the string has to offer called toUppercase. Otherwise we'd have to put like 26 more else ifs inside this already huge conditional block. Okay, one more thing before I proclaim this done. Spaces are a special character we're going to need to address. Yes, in programming, spaces are characters too. We don't discriminate! In Morse code, spaces are represented by 7 dots worth of silence. Now since we already have 3 dots worth of silence from whatever our last character was, we can just tack on 4 more here. Now our code is ready to rock! Now all we need to do is put in whatever message we want to here, and the Arduino will broadcast it in Morse code. Hey, great job you guys for sticking with me through all this. I bet your brains feel like mush right about now. Don't worry, it's all the fresh neural connections your brain just made. Now before I go, I would seriously recommend that you try this out for yourself. Grab my code and make variations of it. And hey, it's okay if it doesn't work for the first 50 times or so. It'll really help solidify what I covered in my recent videos. And as always, I have links in the description for more info. Okay, I'm gonna get going now. So until next time, keep on tinkering.